The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Jesus appeared to the 11 and said to them, "Go into the whole world and proclaim the gospel to every creature. Whoever believes and is baptized will be saved. Whoever does not believe will be condemned. These signs will accompany those who believe. In my name they will drive out demons. They will speak new languages. They will pick up serpents with their hands. And if they drink any deadly thing, it will not harm them. They will lay hands on the sick and they will recover." Then the Lord Jesus, after he spoke to them, was taken up into heaven and took his seat at the right hand of God. But they went forth and preached everywhere, while the Lord worked with them and confirmed the word through accompanying signs. The Gospel of the Lord. If you go to Rome today, one of the most famous architectural pieces there is what's called the Vittorio Emanuele monument. It's that big white marble building you see. You ever see photos of Rome? It's named after the first king of Italy who won what's now known as Italy from the Pope, because the Italian state was being formed, and of course he had to defeat the church because the church had what's called the Papal States. And so the Vittorio Emanuele conquered the Papal States and established what's now known as modern Italy. But they built this huge monument to themselves there. And where it's at is, it was built on top of the Roman Forum. And it was on purpose why they built it there. Because they were trying to evoke, as they defeated the church, they wrestled our property from us, they defeated the Pope and built or established Italy as a secular state. But they were trying to evoke the might of Roman Empire. Right? They're trying to say we're in continuity with Rome, and in order to make them feel good about themselves. And always political leaders are always trying to do that, by the way. And they built it there, again, on top of the Roman Forum. But what's funny about it, if you ever go to Rome and you see what's lovingly called the wedding cake, that's what tourists call it, they call it the wedding cake. Across from it, there's a big square called Piazza Venezia. And in this square, there's a little church called San Marco, St. Mark. It was here in this church where tradition says Mark, whose feast day we celebrate today, wrote the gospel 2,000 years ago. And why I bring up all of these fun facts, because I just love history as a nerd, but it's because here is the center of Roman power, which Vittorio Emanuele tried to evoke upon himself to say how great he was as the first king of Italy. And yet there is Mark in this church on the side of this great monument to Italian sovereignty, where he wrote the gospel. As he's writing these words, the gospel, which would eventually spread, he knew what he was doing. He was engaged in an act of open rebellion. Because again, remember, as Christians, we proclaim Christ is King. And if indeed Christ is King, what does that mean for all other powers? They have to submit to the true King. The true King of the world who has now come into the world. So here's Mark now, again, in the seat of Roman power. I mean, it's hard to imagine for us how beautiful Rome would have looked in its heyday. And there is Mark, that revolutionary, writing his gospel. And what's amazing is that within line of sight where Mark would have wrote his gospel, you would have seen the emperor's palace right over there. So as he's writing the gospel, I bet he's looking out his window like, you Roman Empire, you think you're so great. Well, I'm writing about the true king. When Jesus says now to go out into the whole world and proclaim the gospel to every creature, that's us. And why, notice, today we wear red. Why? Because we know what happened to our ancestors and those who boldly proclaim Jesus Christ as King. This is why Christianity is fundamentally a threatening message for those who refuse to relinquish power. Even within our own selves, because for us, what do we have to do? Because we have our own little Roman emperors. Guess who that is? My ego. My ego is the new Roman emperor. Which is why our egos must die when we make Christ King. And that, my friends, will always be a threatening message, and rightly so. Christ is the true ruler of the world now, who has come into the world. So picture Mark now, and I end here, writing his gospel as he looks at the Roman emperor's palace. That's nothing. Christ is King.